Hey church, I'm Taylor and we are on day 16 of the Advent devotions. Today we are in Luke chapter 1 verses 57 through 66. It is titled, The Birth of John the Baptist. It says, Now the time came for Elizabeth to give birth, and she bore a son. And her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown great mercy to her, and they rejoiced with her. And on the 8th day they came to circumcise the child. And they would have called him Zechariah after his father, but his mother answered, No, he shall be called John. And they said to her, None of your relatives is called by this name. And they made signs to his father, inquiring what he wanted him to be called. And he asked for a writing tablet and wrote, His name is John. And they all wondered, and immediately his mouth was open and his tongue loosed, and he spoke blessings to God. And fear came on all their neighbors, and all these things were talked about through all the hill country of Judea. And all who heard them laid them up in their hearts, saying, What then will this child be? For the hand of the Lord was with them. You know, nowadays, when people go to name their child, you can pretty much choose whatever name you want, right? It's not a surprise to not name your child after the father or relative. Though regardless of the name that you choose, when people ask, you're not always guaranteed the best reaction. My favorite response when my wife and I told people what we are going to be naming our daughter was head tilted, "Oh, that's an interesting choice." But regardless of others' reactions, you stick with the name that you choose, because when you know it's the right one, you just know it's the right one. For Zechariah and Elizabeth, the angel Gabriel told him straight to his face, Name the boy John. They had no anticipation of finding out the gender or having to sift through the top 1,000 baby names on Google. They were told exactly what to do. But Zechariah doubted and questioned what the angel said and was made mute because of it. Now let's paint a picture of what's going on here. Imagine you have this beautiful baby boy that you're holding, and everyone in the neighborhood, including all of your relatives, gather around to find out what you are going to name him. Just imagine the opinions flying around that place. Imagine the expectations of traditions like naming the boy after his father or sticking with a name of a relative. And just imagine the pressure coming in around you at every different angle, simply on what to name this new baby boy. So Elizabeth speaks up and she says, We're going to name him John. Now, to my knowledge, nobody ever heard the name John before. At least, this is the first person in the Bible to be named John. So, all the neighbors and relatives are like, What? Sorry, did you just say John? Seems a little out of left field there. Clearly, this woman doesn't know what she's talking about. Let's ask the father what they're going to name the boy. So let's get him something to write on. So Zechariah, and remember, all the pressure that is going on in the room right now is given a choice right here. He can go with the crowd pleaser, which at that point was to name the boy after him, or he can trust and be obedient to what God told him. So that's what he chooses, and he writes down, his name is John. Immediately, his mouth is opened, and I love this. His tongue is loosed, and he is able to speak. And what is the first thing to come out of his mouth? He blesses God. He gives him the glory. That, my friends, is powerful and inspiring. Now let's be honest with ourselves and ask the question, if God took away your speech and gave it back, would blessings to God, praises, rejoicing be the first thing to come out of your mouth, especially in a room full of people. As soon as the people see Zechariah respond this way, they are struck with fear of God. You know, awe and reverence, submission and recognition. And out of this, word spreads like wildfire throughout the hill country of Judea. And everyone that hears of what happened knows. I love that they just know, and it impresses onto their hearts that this is God's work and God is going to use this child for his kingdom and his glory. You see, Zechariah's obedience caused people to not only turn to the Lord, but to fear the Lord as well. It might be big or it might be small, but what is that thing that God is calling you to be obedient towards today? It might be to read the Bible. It might be to text a friend. Or it might be to buy that person standing on the street corner a cup of coffee. Whatever it is that you are being called to be obedient towards, be obedient with fear of the Lord in awe, reverence, submission, and recognition. Because if God is asking you to do something, it means that he is working in your life. And that, my friends, is something worth bowing down to the King of Kings and giving him the glory for.
With each one of these devotions, we're going to provide for you devotional thoughts and questions for you to do individually, as well as group discussions, so that you can do those with your family or with a small group or with your spouse or a friend. And then after that, there will be some family ideas that you can do for family devotions each day as we experience Advent together.